Hey there, welcome back to the show. On this show, I'm going to be working with Dave, and if you'll remember, he's the guy that I asked to go out and find some bank-owned properties. And in fact, I assigned him to go get 15 of them and bring them back to me. And I told him I wanted I'll go do some research and find out what the ARV, which is the after repaired value. I want to know what they're asking. I want to see the comps. I want him to print me out a map showing where it's at, and any negative comments while he was out there looking at the property, and his just general idea what the repair cost would be, 5, 10, 15, 20,000 or whatever it was. So in this episode, we're going to see if Dave actually did what I asked him to do. We're going to go through them and we'll separate them into A piles and B piles so you will see how I do that in real life.
Okay, so today I have a couple of objectives. Ron had suggested two things to me. One was to find a realtor that could help me find REO properties, and the other is to find REO sites on the internet. So I'm going to go in there and do a Google search for REO properties, and I'm going to go to probably the old-fashioned Yellow Pages and come up with some realtors that I want to talk to about finding REOs.
David, I've got this stuff ready. You ready to look at it?
Sure, let's go.
All right, now, I'm not sure exactly what it is I'm doing here, but I've tried.
Okay.
All right? Now, here's what I've got. I got these off the internet. Again, I just feeling my way through these places.
Okay.
All right. This is what they're asking. From what I can tell from the area and the other places I looked up on the county site as to what the values on the same streets and around it. This should be the ARV.
Okay.
All right, now, you're the numbers guy. You have to figure out if I'm doing this right. Now, this is what I consider to be the Mayo compared to the asking price.
Right.
Now, they're pretty far apart.
Yeah, this is a good example of one that doesn't work. You know, this is kind of a waste of time, unfortunately.
Well, exactly, how is it supposed to look?
Well, we got to find houses where the asking price and the ARV are a lot closer.
All right,
I'm sorry, the Mayo.
All right, let's look at this one. All right, now this one, the ads that I found says that it needs quite a bit in repairs.
Okay.
So I put 10 in. Now, when we go out and look at it, it may need a lot more than that. So how do we decide which ones are the ones we're going to look at? Do I just put 10 in?
Well, I think that's a good start. That gives us something, you know, one of the things that Ron said was you want to find houses where the bank is selling them for close to what we would pay, which is, you know, this Mayo calculation. So you need to get as close to that as you can. And we're just using 10 as a ballpark figure. This could change, and we know that. But all we're trying to do is select the houses that we want to go, because we got to go and drive around and look at all these. We don't want to.
Okay, so this one's a no, and this one's an okay. But I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you that more of them in this, of the ones I did, are going to look like this.
I
Than that
understand,
one.
but we have to keep looking. I mean, this is a numbers game. You got to keep
Well,
looking until you
But
find.
when are we supposed to get this done? I'm running out of time here. You know, your research person can only do so much.
I understand that, but we're not going to be able to buy those anyway. So you got to keep looking at it. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, I'll spend some more time, but you're going to have to help a little bit here.
Yes.
All right? So how about if I go through and I get more of them, and then you do the MapQuest, and I keep looking for new
Fine.
properties?
Fine. Fine.
All right. Honestly. Well, what do you expect? I can't do it all. I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing. He's the one who goes to the meetings. He tells me the stuff.
Hey, Kath, I can hear you mumbling out there about this stuff.
Yeah, I know you can hear me. You're supposed to.
I'm under a lot of pressure. I have to get this done for Ron, and I do need help here. I don't know what I'm doing yet either, you know?
Well, I guess he said only half of these are good. I spent the whole day, and probably less than half are going to be good. I guess we'll take a walk around the block and then get back to my computer.
It's tough. I mean, there's a lot of houses out there on these sites, and they're not all deals. I mean, that's the problem here. There's just too many of them. We couldn't possibly look at them all, and I certainly don't want to overpay for anything. So I'm concerned about what they're listing them for and what we calculate is what they might be worth. So you know, we gotta keep working at this. I don't think she gets that part, you know, if we don't do that, you know, this just isn't gonna work, we won't make any money.
Okay, so we just drove into a neighborhood just a short distance from my place of residence, and as Ron suggested, I'm riding around looking for signs in front of a house that may be owned by a bank. So we'll look around here and see what we can find. This has been kind of interesting. I just rode through all the streets, and there's nothing here that's evidence of an REO, although I may be speaking too soon. Because this is a vacant house, and it's got a lockbox, but it does not have a realtor sign in the front of it. But I think I'm going to take a look and get a picture anyway, because we can always go to county records and see who owns it. All right, so I got a picture. I want to check out what's inside, if anything. Okay, this is a vacant house, and it looks like it's in pretty decent shape. But there's no evidence here that this is a bank-owned property at this point, other than there's a lockbox on it and it's vacant. So we're going to have to figure out who owns this house, and then see if we can get connected to the realtor that will be listing it. Okay. It's good property. So this is a different neighborhood, and we've kind of seen two signs already for houses for sale. And this one really looks like it's an REO. So what I'm going to do first, I think, is I'm going to call the number on this sign and see if I can get any information from the listing realtor. Hi, Amy. My name's Dave. And I'm stopped in front of a house that has your sign on it in the Tanglewood area. And the address is 2652, and I think this is Tanglewood Drive. I'm not quite sure. I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about this. Could you do me a big favor? Have you run some comps on the property for the other fellow? Could you email those? Could you email those to me? All right, send them over to me, and if the numbers look good, I'll call you back. All right, so she's going to send me comps that she's done on the house. This is not an REO; it's still owned by an individual, but she claims that they're very motivated to sell. So, who knows? Something may come of it. And I need to get a picture of it, which I'm going to do right now. I'm sitting in front of 2264A in the Sunrise area. You have this house listed, and I was just calling for some details. All right, I've been riding around for quite a while now, and it's been a little frustrating. We haven't found anything that's REO, so it's getting a little hot. It's a hot day here in Florida, so I think I'm gonna head back to my home office and see if I can locate some REOs on the internet instead of driving around anymore today.
We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Well, welcome back.
Good to be back.
All right, for those of you watching, in case you don't remember, this is Dave Shearing. As I recall, Dave, I sent you out to go look at bank-owned properties, didn't I? And I asked you to bring me back 15 bank-owned properties with the facts on them. Is that correct?
That's exactly right.
Okay, and I asked you to bring me the comps so I could see what the after repair value is.
Right.
I wanted a photograph of the property,
Correct.
several actually. I wanted to know what you thought the repair costs were with your quick repair estimate, which we all know is wrong, but somewhere within the ballpark at least. And I wanted to know what the asking price was, which is easy to get. It's right there on the listing, because these are all properties that are in the MLS, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so they're already been foreclosed on, the bank owns them, and now the bank's put them back on the market with realtors. So your job was to go out there and get a batch of them, pre-screen them, get the information on them, bring them back, and now we're gonna sit here and go through them and figure out, hey, I think we're gonna separate the A pile from the B pile. I've looked through these before we started the show, and so I've done that. And I want our viewers to see why I picked the A pile, why the B pile. And then I think we're gonna go through the B pile and actually make offers on them right here during the show, or I mean determine what we're gonna offer anyway. And then we'll do the A pile after the, the B pile after the show. I say that wrong, we're gonna go through the A pile on the show, the B pile after the show. And then you're gonna take them out there and actually submit the offers to the realtors that are in charge of the listing, and then we'll get back together after all of those offers have been accepted, declined, or countered. And of course, you're gonna get with me along the way if we need to do a counter, and we'll explain that on the next show, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
so you brought me the asking price, what you think the repairs are, the ARV, the after repaired value, what you wanna offer, and I've got the comps, I've got a map. I've got a map not only showing the subject pinpointed on the Google map, but I've also got a dot here for every one of the comps, so that I can see that the comps are located in the same neighborhood as the subject. And then we've also got a photograph of each house, which to me is worth its weight in gold, because I can look at the photograph of the house and determine quickly whether I have any interest in it or not. And I think pretty much anybody watching the show can do the same. Because if it's a house that just looks nasty and atrocious to you, in other words, even if you fixed it, it looks unsellable, I think the best thing to do is pass on it and not bother with it. Because remember, buying houses is one thing, we still have to sell them after we get them bought, whether we're wholesaling them or whether we're retailing them. Okay, so I'm gonna go through some here, and let's see here. I've got, let's start with the B pile first and find out why I think that some of these projects, our houses, have a lot better chance to get accepted than others. Number one criteria that I look for when I'm pre-screening these REOs, or any vacant, ugly house that looks like I'm gonna pay cash for, whether it's bank owned or not, is the difference between the ARV, the after repaired value, and the asking price. If the asking price is here and the ARV is here, I'm probably not gonna buy that house, because there is just too big a gap between the asking price and what I'm gonna pay for it down here if I'm paying all cash. And in today's market, if we're paying all cash, we're gonna buy them really, really cheap. Best guess, cross nation, I'm buying them right now here in Jacksonville, Florida, where I live, for approximately 40 to 50 cents of the ARV. 40 to 50% of the ARV. Sometimes I get them a little cheaper. Sometimes I pay a little bit more because they need very little work. But in today's market, I just don't want to pay any more than that for them, because there's so many of them out there. They're so easy to find and they're so easy to buy at those numbers. So let's just take a look at the first one here. You've got a house here that the asking price is $55,000 on, and the ARV is only $85,000. Now, Dave, you and I have worked together enough to where I'm not going to sit here on the show and scrutinize all of your comps. I know that you know how to take the list of comps and determine what a fair ARV is, so I'm going to assume that your number is correct on the ARV. However, before we go spending any money, I'm going to certainly check to make sure that I think your ARV is right. And looking at the picture of this house, I would say that your ARV is at least $85,000 on it, and your comps verify that. So if your ARV is 85 and they're asking 55, I'm going to put that in the B pile. Because I know for me to buy this house, I'm going to offer considerably less than $55,000 on it. Now, I'm not saying we can't buy this house. I am saying if I have a choice of dealing with priority A prospects or priority B prospects, I'm always going to take the A prospects. All right, now let's just compare that to one here over here in my A pile, for example. Here's a house on Tequesta. This one is located on Tequesta. The ARV is 80, but the asking price is only $28,600. So it's obvious to me that if I buy the house at less than asking price, I've got a much less hurdle to climb if they're asking 28 and it's worth 80 than I do if they're asking 55 and it's worth 85. So to me, it's just plain old simple math. So let's go through the B pile first and get those out of the way. Then I want to come back and actually formulate offers on the A pile. By the way, how many did you bring me?
I brought you 18.
18.
Right.
How many did I ask you to bring me?
15.
All right. Okay, the man follows instructions. Okay, so let's see what he brought me here. This one's on Melrose again, asking 55, R 85. Here's one on Lenczyk, Lenczyk Drive, asking 74.9, R 120. Again, not saying we can't buy it, but our chances are less than we have a larger spread. Here's one they're asking on Morning Glory. They're asking 68.9, R 116. Just a little too close for my taste. Repairs on that one you say are 15. Here's one on Pheasant Path Drive. I happen to own a house on that street right now. And I know your ARV is correct at 90, because that's what ours is on the market for right now. And it's the same size as this house. So that's nice when you happen to own a house in the neighborhood. The asking price, however, is 53.9, and it needs 20 in work, according to you. The one we bought on Pheasant Path, we paid 44, and it needed 8 in work. So obviously, the asking price on this house is much too high for my taste. Again, asking 53.9, R 90, too close. I don't like it. All right, here's one on Renault Drive. R is 138. But asking 90 for the house, actually 89.9 for the house, needs 10 repairs. I would like to have a larger spread than that. Again, we're gonna make an offer on it, and it is a nice looking property, but I'm still putting it in the B pile because our chances are a lot slimmer. Here's one on Sapelo, S-A-P-E-L-O. ARB is 90 and they're asking 77.9. I'd say we got a slim chance of ever even getting close on that one. It's probably a big time waster. Unless, of course, that seller is more motivated than it appears. Seller meaning these are all bank-owned properties. Okay, here's one, the ARB is 155, and they're asking 105. It's on Atlanta Court. Not a good prospect. Here's one on Julie Lane. They're asking asking 109.9, and the ARB is only 120. We got a slim to none chance of buying that house. And here's one on Lantana Lakes Drive, where the asking is 107.9 and the ARV is $138,000. Nice looking house, but that's the problem. A beautiful house means the asking price is too high and the owner occupants will pay much more than we will pay as investors. Now somebody's going to get a great deal on this house, but it's not going to be us because we're just not going to be able to pay what the owner occupants can pay. So that is our competition, it's owner occupants. Now, let's get over here to the A pile. Okay, this is our 18 right here. All right, let's look at the top one. You've got a house on Tequesta Court where the asking price is $28,660, but the ARV is 80. Now, Dave, what do you know about this house? Tell me about this house.
Well, I know it's on a cul-de-sac in a quiet neighborhood. It doesn't need much in repairs. Could you use some carpeting and some paint, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape.
Pretty good shape. When it's bank owned, you say it needs about $7,000 in work.
That's correct.
Okay, so they're asking $28,660. The ARB is 80, and it looks like your ARB is right on here. You say it needs 7 to work. What do you want to offer?
I think if I remember correctly, I had 25 on there.
That is what it says. Yes. Okay, all right, let me look. 25, you know what, Dave? I'm going to approve that offer. Let's do it. Let's get that offer in at $25,000. Now remember, they're asking $28,600. So for all of you watching this show, our offer is darn close to what they're asking. We've got a very, very good chance of buying this house. Now look, all we did was pre-screen it. This is out of the same pile as the rest of them. It's listed in the same MLS, but we took the time to pick out the ones with a big spread in, and I'll bet you we buy this house. You want to bet?
Sure.
Huh?
I'll bet we buy it.
Don't bet me, because you probably lose on that one. All right, let's look at this next one on Pawnee. Pawnee. The R is 110,000, and the asking is 55,000. You think it needs about 15 in work. What did you want to offer on this house, Dave? It's a good-looking house. Okay. All right, there's the picture of it. Good looking house. Bring back memories?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
I've been through so many of them, it's hard to,
I
not as
understand.
good yet.
That's why we write stuff down. We don't rely on our memory, especially when we're
I
old.
have to
geezers.
cheat and look at the other side.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right.
I said 40,000.
All right, you want to offer 40. Let me just take a look here. It's in a good area. It's out on the Orange Park area. It's a good ways out though. ARB is 110. You think it needs 15 repairs. They're asking 55. You want to pay 40. You know, Dave, I wouldn't, if we paid 40 and we actually did want to repair it, we'd have 55 in it plus cost, worth 110. There's nothing wrong with that spread in anybody's imagination. But I gotta tell you, I think we ought to lower that one a little bit. Let's knock that down to 35, can we?
Sure.
Besides, can we always go up?
Yeah.
Can't ever go down, can we? All right.
Sure.
So let's put that one out at 35,000, I've marked it. Okay, now here's one on Forbes Street, which is in the west side of our town. And the asking is 52.9. You say it needs about 15 repairs. And the ARV is 105. Decent looking house, incidentally. Tell me what you remember about that.
That is a nice house. It's got a little peculiarity. It has a big garage in the back that has no access to it.
You got a garage with no access?
There's no access, so
Well-
something would have to be done there.
So it's probably a workshop.
Yeah, it could be a workshop.
Yeah. If you can't drive a car to it, it's not a garage. All right, okay. So tell me, what do you want to offer on that based on your numbers?
Based on my numbers, I suggested an offer of 40,000.
40,000? That sounds high. I will tell you right now that I'm just not gonna offer $40,000 on any house that's only worth 105 that needs 15 repairs. I don't wanna be into it that deep. There's so many of them out there to pick from. Well, let's buy the ones that we can get the best deals on and not pay too much. Again, if I bought it for 40 and spent 15 on it, had 55 in it, it's worth 105, probably live with that. But we gotta remember, if we did renovate this house and sell it, we're gonna have a lot of closing costs because these low-end buyers, the seller has to pay all the closing costs to get them in it. You might have to even reduce the price some, and in my experience, I want a larger spread in it than that. It looks like a large spread on the surface, but I can tell you that $105,000 houses all over America, I can buy a lot cheaper than $40,000. So I'm gonna take your $40,000 offer and knock it down to 25,000 and see what happens. I think we're gonna get some interest for that at 25,000. Remember, they're asking 52.9, so our chances are, not fabulous on this one, but we just don't know what the seller is going to be willing to look at until we make the offer. You see, we can sit here and guess and surmise all we want, but it's totally irrelevant. Until we make the offer, a seller comes back and says, put it where the sun don't shine, or okay, we'll accept it, or no, we'll counter it. And that's how the game is played. And that's why we have to go through 10 to 15 of these things to get one accepted, because we just have no way to communicate with the seller. We have no idea what's on their mind at this time. And again, that's the only way to find out, make them an offer. But not a ridiculous offer. To be honest with you, I know that if you're watching this show and you've never bought a house before besides the one you live in, offering $25,000 on a house worth 105 that needs 15 repairs might seem ridiculous to you, but it's not ridiculous. You'll take the time to get a little bit of training, you'll see that that is the market we're living in today all over America. And remember that banks have about 2 million of these things in their possession right now, and 2 million more coming right behind them. Okay, here's one on Randall Road. Big house, 1,748 square feet. I'll show you the picture of it again. The ARV is 120, and they're asking 49.9, which is of course why Dave chose to pull it out of the pile. Tell me, what do you know about that house?
This house has a very dark interior in it. It needs a lot of work on the inside,
Meaning painting?
meaning it's got a lot of paneling that needs
Dark
to be,
paneling?
something has to be done with it.
Paneling is easily to rip off a wall, isn't it? And behind it, there's usually sheetrock. Okay?
It has some roof issues in one area of the house that's been added onto it, so it needs some work there. And it just needs, spruced up.
Okay.
Paint on the
No,
inside
no.
and outside.
But no major stuff other than painting, maybe some roof repairs?
That's about
Does
it.
the roof look like it's gonna have to be replaced?
I think at least one section will have to
Okay, this is 1,750 square foot house now. This could easily suck up $15,000 pretty quick. All right, how about the central heat and air conditioning?
That seemed to be in
Okay.
pretty good shape, yeah.
All right.
At least from what I could see.
All right, from what you can see, you put a $15,000 number on it, but I can tell you on a 17,100 square foot house, it could go above 15 real easy. So I'm gonna assume that your repair estimate is a little low. Oh, I'm sorry, you put a 30,000 estimate on it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well now I think you're overestimating them, but, okay. So, they're asking 49.9, it's worth 120, what do you wanna offer?
I wanted to offer 30.
30. Okay, so they're asking 49.9, you wanna offer 30. What if we knock that down to 20?
Okay.
If the bank accepted our offer for 20, and it did need 20 in work, and we were in it for 40, if we wanted to repair it, would we be in good shape at 120R?
That would be in real good shape.
Yes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we're not in this, we're not a nonprofit organization on purpose, Dave. Okay? All right, here's one on Aurora Boulevard. And by the way, is this fun? Huh?
Kind of fun.
Yeah, we're playing with paper money here, right? Tell me we
So
want to
far.
accept it, yeah, okay. Here's one on Aurora Boulevard, the ARB is 98,000, they're asking 49.9. You say the ARB is, the repairs are 15,000, and, decent looking bread and butter house, just like the last 2,000 of them had. They all started to look alike after a while. All right, what do you know about that house? That I
Well,
should know?
I know that there was quite a bit of rotting wood around on some of the siding.
Uh-huh,
The air conditioning compressor was missing from the outside.
okay.
And if I remember correctly, that needed a new sliding door on it into the back.
Okay, so miscellaneous stuff, probably needs a
That's
new
okay.
central heat and air conditioning system. How about the roof okay?
Roof was okay.
Roof is okay, yeah, looks okay in the picture, nice looking kitchen in it.
Yeah.
So, you think $15,000 will easily do it, and I agree with you on this, 1,300 square foot house. And so, all right, so the ARB is 98, the asking 49.9, what do you wanna offer?
I have 40.
Okay, then what am I gonna say?
You're gonna say it's too high.
Why is it too high?
Because if we put that money into it, we'll be too close to the ARB. There won't be a
Correct.
big enough spread.
If your ARB is rounded to 100, and incidentally, there is no such thing as a 98 ARB, it's 100, okay?
That's
So,
my spreadsheet.
so if you round it to 100, do you really want to pay $40,000 on a house that needs 15 repairs?
No.
Well, you know, there would have been a time when I'd have killed to pay that, but right now, no need to. I'm gonna knock your $40,000 offer down to 25,000, and let's see what happens. Okay, remember, they're asking 49.9, so we're only offering half of what they're asking, but it's only worth 98 to 100 when it's fixed. So we're either gonna get a decent deal, or we're gonna get no deal,
Okay.
all right? Okay, here's one on Collins Road, 1,725 square feet. ARB is 80. Boy, I don't really like the look of this house, Dave, I'm gonna tell you that right now. This is not a house that I would cherish the thought of selling. The picture of this house just looks
So, yeah.
what's the word?
Unsellable.
Unsellable, okay? In other words, it has nothing going for it.
Right.
It's just a square-looking box, which means I don't like it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if I don't like it, I am gonna I'm gonna make an offer on it I hope they don't accept, because I don't want it.
Right.
If I have to pay very much for it. Okay, you got an ARB of 80, and you got, asking a 47, or 42, is it?
42.
Okay, your repairs are 15, so what do you wanna offer?
Well, I was suggesting 25.
25? No way. What's your new suggestion?
My new suggestion is probably 15.
Based on the fact that you and I, neither one like this house.
Right.
Okay, but it's a pretty good sized house, isn't it? 1,725
Yes,
square
it's
feet. I have a hard time looking at the picture and seeing that square footage. I see a 2-story picture here and a 1-story picture there. What's the
Right.
deal on this house? It's
Well,
2-story in the back?
It's 2-story in the back, and I think they're counting the downstairs as part of the living area.
Well, you know what, Dave? I dislike the picture of this house so much. I'm gonna knock your $25,000 offer down to 10, and I kinda hope they don't take it. Because I can tell you right now, I would never renovate that house and try to retail it. I think it would be too hard of a sale. So in my mind, I'm thinking, if I can get this house for 10 grand, which we probably won't because they're asking 42.9 for it. But on the other hand, I would imagine that most other rehabbers are looking at it the same way I'm looking at it, yeah? Because if it needs 15 and work and has no pizzazz, very little action on it. So the bank is going to sell this house sooner or later. Okay, if our timing is right, and we happen to be there when it's time for them to say yes, then it'll go. Incidentally, do you have any idea how long this property's been on the market? Did you put that on your notes here anywhere?
I did not.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, it's
I
important.
should know that.
It's important, because if this house has been on the market 4, 5, 6 months, we even have a better chance of the lender just blowing it out and getting rid of it. What you gotta remember is, our lender has no personal involvement in this house. There's no emotions here. It's all gonna come down to numbers. Sooner or later, they're gonna take whatever somebody offers them for the house. If that is now, then we might probably get it for 10 grand. If not, we won't. We're probably gonna be okay either way, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be fine.
And again, I hope they don't take the offer. All right, so what's the exit if they do?
The
We're not gonna renovate it, what are we
No,
gonna do?
we're gonna wholesale it.
We're gonna wholesale it, absolutely. So here's a house that we might be able to get for 10. We'll put it right back on the market for 25. We'll see if somebody else wants it bad enough to pay that for it, because remember, they're asking 42.9 for it.
Right.
So if we put it on the market for 25, we could make $15,000 and still give our new buyer a great deal.
Sure.
Whether that be an investor or an owner occupant, we'd be in and out $15,000 to the good. Could you use an extra 15 grand?
Sure can.
Okay, well, that is the purpose of this show, isn't it? Okay.
Stay tuned, you do not want to miss what's coming up next.
All right, here's one on Luke Street. Luke Street, last one. The ARV is 80. Oh, this one I like. Let me see if I like the picture. Oh, not a bad picture of a house, just a little bread and butter box. You think it needs 20 in work, and it's only, wow, 2,225 square feet. Is that true on this house?
It is.
It sure don't look like it. Where's the rest of the house at? The picture I'm looking at.
Actually, this house has a big addition that goes in the back.
Attached to the house?
Attached to, that is attached to the house.
Okay.
And you can get into it too. So it is a little bit deceiving from the pictures here, but the back is fairly large.
So the big addition on the back was probably not very well done. It looked like something somebody added.
It looked like it needed some sprucing up, let's put it that way.
Yeah, but so does it look weird in the back of the house?
No, it didn't look too weird. I mean, it could have been made into a nice looking.
So you think this house is sellable?
I think so.
And it's got 5 bedrooms and 2 baths. That's nice. But here's what I like about it. The ARV is 80, which I probably doubt is the case because, well, I don't know. What's your comps here? You got one. All your comps are bank-owned properties, so you really have no comps.
Right.
So where did you get the ADR?
Well, that's a good question.
Was that a guess?
Yeah, I think it was a guess from riding around in the neighborhood.
So you're using the swag theory, huh?
On this one, I think. I had
Scientific,
to.
wild ass guess?
I think.
Okay, well, sometimes that's all you got. Okay, but would common sense tell us that a 2,200 square foot house in good condition be worth more than $80,000 in this market?
Yeah, I would have to say
So,
yes.
but here's the good part. Here's the part I like, that excites me about this house. The asking price is only $16,900. So that immediately is what attracted you to this deal, wasn't it?
It was.
All right, well, look, if they're asking 16.9, what are we gonna offer?
Well, I have 15.
You have 15,
Yeah.
because we're just not gonna, we're not gonna offer asking price, we wouldn't be able to sleep, would we?
Right, that's right.
Okay. So if we get this house for $15,000 with 2,200 square feet, that you think needs 20 in repairs, could be a lot less, that you think is worth, it's gotta be worth 100 to 125 minimum, I would guess. We'd be doing good, wouldn't we?
That would be good.
Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna approve your offer as is.
Great.
So, I want you to get out there, and I want you to get all of these offers made. Let's see how many we got here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 in the A pile. All right, and then before you leave, we're gonna go through, I'm sorry, that's the A
That's the A
pile.
pile.
Before you leave, we're gonna go through the B pile, and, so you'll leave with offers on everything that you brought.
Okay.
Okay?
I do
What
have
you got
one,
there?
I do have one more.
All right.
Because you did mention FSBOs.
For sale by owners, yes.
Yes, for sale by owners.
Uh-huh.
And I happen to have a friend of mine call me and tell me about a for sale by owner property.
Okay,
And I went to look at it and I mark up a sheet on it, and I wanted to show that to you. as well.
Very good, very good. So, you've got a house here on Hampstead,
Yes.
all right? And you think the ARB is about 159, huh?
Correct.
Okay. Well, looking at the house, it's just a normal looking house. Looks like it's got a decent kitchen in it, nice fireplace, nice brick fireplace, good area. And your comps would substantiate that it is worth right in that ballpark. And they're asking 80, but in this case, this is not a free and clear house.
That's
This
correct.
is not a bank-owned house. This is an individual owns it.
That's correct.
All right, and they have a $65,000 mortgage on it now with a payment of $750.
Right.
That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Wow. And it's current,
It's current.
so this is not a short sale prospect. This is not a foreclosure. It's not in arrears. But they're asking 80, they owe 65, and it's worth 159, and it needs no repairs or little
It
repairs?
needs,
Some repairs?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, what does it need?
well, it needs carpeting, and the worst part about it is it needs a roof.
It needs a roof.
Right.
And-
It needs carpet and painting. So,
What's your best guess this roof's gonna cost?
well, I'm guessing around $8,000.
$8,000, okay. You've got 1,551 square feet here, built in 1985, and you think it needs 20 in repairs total,
Yeah.
all right? And they're asking 80 and they owe 65, so really what they're looking for is $15,000.
That's correct.
All right, well, I'm not gonna write them a check for 15,000 and neither are you, so here's what I want you to do, because I like this deal. Let me tell you what I like about it the most, is the difference between the asking price and the R. Which in this case is not bank owned, but still important if we're gonna make a lot of money on this house, or if you're gonna make a lot of money on it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's vacant now, huh?
It is vacant, yes.
Okay. Did you happen to talk to the seller to ask them if they would entertain some owner financing on it?
I did,
You did?
I did.
And what'd they say?
They said they would consider that, yes.
Really? All right, well then this is simple. If they're asking 80, it's worth 159, and they owe 65, we're gonna offer them 80.
Okay?
I know that's shocking.
It's different.
We're gonna offer them their asking price, but we're gonna get terms, sweet terms on this house. Here's how I wanna buy this house. I wanna buy it with owner financing, which means we're in Florida, so we'll either buy it with an agreement for deed or a wraparound mortgage, one of the two.
Okay.
And I wanna buy it for 80. We'll issue a mortgage to the seller for the 80, and we'll pay them the same amount on a monthly payment that they're paying until sometime in the future. Probably, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll put a 5-year balloon in this, if we have to. In fact, don't even mention it unless they've asked, well, when are you gonna pay it off? Then you're gonna have to come up with some kind of an answer in probably 5 years. 5 years is a minimum balloon once you put in.
right.
That means it's all due and payable within 5 years. So we're gonna buy it with nothing down.
Right.
We will pay the closing costs.
Okay.
And we're gonna issue them a note for 80,000, of which they owe 65. So they'll take our $750 a month that we're paying them, and they'll use it to make the payment. Or with their permission, we'll just pay their bank directly. So we'll pay out $750. You'll own the house worth $159. You're creating a mortgage back to the seller so they become the bank. That's owner financing, okay? So if they'll sell it to you with owner financing for 80,000 and take the same payment they're making, we'll buy it for exactly what they're asking. And then we'll probably put a work for equity tenant buyer in it. Because in order to renovate this house, we actually have to come up with the money to do the renovations, because you can't borrow from a private lender because there's already a loan on it for 65. So I'd sell it as is, where is, to a work for equity tenant buyer, put them in the house, let them do the work, and then when they get it fixed, we'll take them out and get them financed for whatever we were going to sell it to them for, and cash out of it, at which time then we'll pay off the seller their 80, of which they have to pay out the 65 at the same time at the closing table.
That gives them
You
their
get
15.
That gives them their 15. So they'll get 15 when we cash out of the house. It's that simple. So you think you can present that to them?
I think I can.
As simply as possible.
All right.
All right? Well, when we come back into the boardroom again, we'll get together and find out if, how that one worked out. So you got 7 or 8 or 9 there, and then we're gonna go through the B pile when we get out of the show. So when you leave here today, you're gonna have 19 offers to go out there and make, all at one time. Does that scare you?
No, not at all.
Oh, don't lie to us. Does that scare you?
I have to have a little bravado, you know.
Okay. Now, Now, when you're making offers to these bank-owned properties, you're gonna need a $1,000 deposit, but we're gonna put in there that the deposit is due within 48 hours after acceptance. And most realtors will accept that. In fact, they prefer that way. So then when one does get accepted, and I bet we do get one accepted out of this pile, maybe two, then you'll have to come up with $1,000 and put it in the escrow, not until. As far as the FSBO goes, if they accept your offer, then you're gonna need a $10 deposit.
I think I
That's
can
all.
handle that.
Okay, can you handle that? All right, so let's get out there and get to work, and we'll get back together. I don't want to talk to you again, well, I'll talk to you about anything you need to discuss in the middle, but we're gonna go over all of these again after you submitted the offers, and when you come back again, I want to know exactly what was accepted, what happened on each and every one of them, because we're gonna go right through the exact same list again and discuss the results. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right,
All right,
I'll see you then.
see you then.
All right. All right, well, there you have it. It looks like Dave did what I asked him to do. Actually, he did a great job. He brought in 19. I asked him to bring in 15. And I see some very good prospects in there. My instincts tell me that we're going to get at least one or two of those bank-owned properties accepted. And I like that FSBO. And I'll bet you we get that FSBO offer accepted. So we'll find out here in the upcoming episodes. I'm looking forward to finding out myself right now. I'm kind of excited because I can see Dave is about this close to getting a check. Now, on the next episode, we're going to be working with Lauren. If you remember, we took a trip out to the house, and we're going to see what happened with that deal and whether it's going to fly or not fly. So I'll see you on the next episode.